Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and I'm back with more of these Dollar Tree Jenga things. So this is how I make market stalls, and again, don't use super glue or hot glue for this. So I groove up one so it's sturdy. I stack two together, just like that. And then I treat both sides. By treat, I just mean cut grooves into it so it looks like a plank and shit. Then I make these nifty little market stalls that are kind of freestanding and good. It's like that. Then we need some kind of product to put on the market stall. Honestly, it's kind of easier to do it after the fact unless you're doing like weapons or something. Like, so if I wanted, like, I think for this one I'm going to do like, I don't know, maybe like dyes and fabrics, something like that. I don't know, something I don't have. We'll set it off to the side though. And then it's easy to make boats out of these and bridges. So to make a boat, you want something that can roughly hold 4 or 5 miniatures. So in my opinion, 5 miniatures can fit onto 5 of these pretty easy. I just noticed that I didn't do any of these corners or anything. I'll come back in and do a little more cleanup on these. It just won't look as good. Okay. Let me clean this up. Clean up these edges. Not clean up, but, you know, whack up these edges and make it look a little beat up and used. Something like that. And then string. Now, I would argue that using Elmer's is going to give you a better product on this string, but because of the nature of what I do here, I'm going to use super glue or hot glue. This is a good technique to use for a bridge too, but we're going to make a bridge. So your boat, you want it to this is not going to be a boat that you row. This is going to be a boat that you move with a pole most likely. So the way to do that is to like get a hole in there. And I'm going to make my hole a little bigger, maybe, so I can put a toothpick into it. something like that. Cut it off at about 1/2 inch, which is about waist height for a mini. And that's not quite tall enough, so I'll need a second toothpick. Okay. And I want this to just sit so it's flush on the table so it looks like it's underwater. And that's just a pole they're pushing with. And I'm going to take some of this thinner piece here. And I'm going to get a little tiny dab of hot glue. Get this started. I'm going to get that up in there. Then I'm going to wrap this around. And use this to make a generic tie off for my pole. Okay. Then I want this to be sturdy, so I am going to get a little bit of hot glue, or super glue I should say. I'm going to saturate my rope with that. And I'm going to soak it into this rope a little bit, so that my rope doesn't get fuzzy and frayed. Okay. I'm going to elevate that off the table some so it can dry without the stuff sticking to anything. All right, so I have my booth, I have the boat, and then the bridge. The bridge is the easiest one. You can use metal straps, or you can use string, or whatever you want to make your bridge. And you want your bridge to be a little longer than you need it to be. Now, I've done them to where I left a gap and they had some sag, and I didn't like it as much. I like something that was sturdy that I could trust to put miniatures on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a decent gap that would go across any kind of scenario I'm working on for, you know, my tabletop. And I'm just going to make a bridge. So this one looks like it is 5, 10, 12 long. And I want this bridge to be old and beat up, so I'm going to chunk these up pretty good. And minis will still stand on them pretty decently. But I want this to look ancient. And chunky. Too easy. Metal straps look nice on these kind of things, but I'm going to be honest with you, string really sells it well too. I grew up with a guy, now mind you, we were about 9, who told me he knew Black Dragon Kung Fu. Can you believe it? Black Dragon Kung Fu. Taught directly by Bruce Lee. Now, I grew up in a small town in West Virginia. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it seems highly unlikely that a legend like Bruce Lee came here to teach anybody Black Dragon Kung Fu. Of course, I, as a young man, also told a lady I was a bounty hunter. So, kids say dumb shit. I'm on vacation this week. I needed a little bit of decompression time. I guess I'm on what they call now a staycation, according to our office manager, which is the fancy word they use for secretary now. I'm on a staycation, just getting some time to myself to reset and get my little break in. So, this by itself probably wouldn't be Omega Sturdy unless you use super glue, or Elmer's or white glue. But as far as it goes for this project, I'm going to get some thinner string, and I'm going to do string. So, because of how long this is, doing the string in all one go might be tough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do part of my string and let it cool. Just like that. And then I'm going to bring it down here, and I don't think I'm going to do it all the way around down there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the super glue do its job. So I'm going to pull it tight and let it cool. Pull it tight and let it cool. Okay. Okay. I'm just doing that same shit. Now, in theory, you'd have like stakes banged into the ground and this, taught it against that, but we're more worried about theater, creating the illusion, than we are about functionality. Also, the rope would be wrapped in and out in between the planks. But I don't see that being super useful to making just a quick and easy rope bridge like this. something like that. And I'm just going to prop that out on some blocks to dry so it doesn't stick to anything. So I can't remember, we made 5 items yesterday. I made 3 today. Let's make something else real quick. So, you ever wondered about like having wanting to represent art on a wall in a building? Well, that's pretty easy. Get 3 of these. You don't need every wall to be shown, but if you want specifically like an interactable painting or something that you're going to do something with, or that has a purpose, it's good to have a sectional wall for that kind of stuff. So something like that. And then for the painting, we're going to do that after the fact. And I'm just using this little cut up piece of whatever this is from a game board. Not cut up, but it's naturally in that shape. I'm just going to push it back so it sits flush. So it's not easy to knock over. You can still knock it over that way pretty easy, but you could also shove this under a floor tile, you know what I mean? If you needed to. Maybe you should make it out of cardstock. I don't know. So anyways, that probably going to need to be sturdier. I'm going to hit that with super glue again. Okay. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and all the happy crappy that helps the channel grow. Comments are important because I like them, and for no other real reason. I don't think they actually do too much more for you. They might. Hell, maybe comments are the secret to success on... Maybe that's why my YouTube channel is not famous, because I don't get enough comments. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.